Good morning, ladies. So, really excited this morning because I am off to an in-person networking event, something I haven't been to from way before the pandemic started 2 and a bit years ago. So, really excited to be going over to meet a group of heart-led networkers, which is right up my alley. If you don't know much about me, although I come on and I do lives and videos and things like that, I'm actually very much an introvert. So going to meet groups of people that I don't know is quite a big thing for me, but I feel really excited, and it feels the ladies that are going to be there that I've met online just feel like a really nice bunch of ladies. So I am going to be fulfilling one of my basic human emotional needs, which is connection with other people. So really looking forward to that. So what I was jumping on quickly today, I just wanted to talk to you about is, the goal of weight loss. We put so much on it, and I'm always talking about how I've spent at least 25 years praying at that altar of thinness, thinking it was like the answer to everything. And of course, I'd had moments in my life where I'd been slimmer. And of course, you remember it's so much easier to buy clothes. You feel more comfortable in your skin. You feel like you're being less judged. It's like a badge of honor, isn't it? Being slimmer. It's like you fit in with society's ideals of what we should be like. But of course, the reality for most of us, especially in those early months of losing weight, it's really hard work. Part of our identity is gone. It's not just about the having to learn to eat in a new way. It's about learning to be who you are in a slimmer body. And quite often we might present in a thinner body, but our internal world is still that of a fat person. And anyone who's been following me for a while, we don't gain weight because we're lazy, greedy, or lack willpower, although that's kind of what society would like us to believe. There's often lots and lots of reasons. For me personally, I got to 19 stone, and I thought it was because I had no control around food. But once I'd gone through therapy, I very much understood that my weight was like an armor. It was my protection. That physical fat made me unattractive, and that meant I didn't have to engage in relationships. So our food relationship is really complex. So we kind of put so much emphasis on this, that weight or being thinner is the ideal. But for most of us, I think, the goal is really about being happier, feeling better in ourselves physically, emotionally, and mentally. And so that's really interesting, because when we think that being slimmer is the ideal, is the solution to our problem, that's what we're going to focus on. We're constantly going to focus on a way in which we can restrict calories and move more in order to be slimmer, because we think slimmer is the goal, is the outcome, is the thing that's going to make us happy. Now, I'm sure if you've lost weight before, whilst there are elements that are better when we're slimmer, there's also a lot of challenges that go alongside that. And I don't just mean like the maintaining the weight, it's dealing with people's comments around you. I was chatting to someone just this morning who said that they've lost a lot of weight and they're getting really negative comments from people, and that's really hard to kind of navigate that when you've lost a lot of weight. So for me, looking back over my own dysfunctional relationship with food and weight and body image and all of that stuff, I think every single time I made the decision to go on a diet was because I felt unhappy with how I looked. But it wasn't just about how I looked, it was stuff going on in my life, and focusing on my weight and dieting became something that I could control. So I very much see that the problem is not the weight. The problem is our levels of happiness, our levels of not feeling good about ourselves physically, emotionally. So if we make that the problem, then we start to look at how can we resolve that problem. Often the way we'll go about that is very different to if we look at the problem as being our weight. So start to think about that. Start to think about, if your goal was about feeling better physically, emotionally, and mentally, as opposed to it being about weight loss, how would you approach that problem? What would you do to make yourself feel better physically, emotionally, and mentally? And this is a big part of what I teach. I teach, those implementing small daily actions that are going to take you to that place of feeling better, a little bit better physically every day, a little bit better mentally every day, a little bit better emotionally every day. So it's very much about putting into our lives rather than stripping out, and that works much more intuitively with our brains. So That's a question that I'm putting you today, ladies. If your goal was around focusing on feeling better physically, mentally, and emotionally, what sort of steps would you take from today to move you towards that goal?